A government-approved pollution-free car. $395 plus tax. Nifty. So here we have the Lexus LS500, top of the line. I would say this is a rather long platform. This is a nice looking vehicle from any angle. I've gotten lots of compliments from onlookers. Always a good sign. Up until 2018, we had a V8 engine under the hood, putting out 386 horsepower, with the fuel economy rated at 16 to 24 mpg. For 2019, we get a twin turbo V6, putting out 416 horsepower, 442 foot-pounds of torque compared to the V8 at 367. And the fuel economy claimed to be 19 in the city and 30 on the highway. Kind of hard to believe, but we'll take it out and see what happens. Could be true. At least that's what it says on the window sticker. Of course, if you order all-wheel drive, these figures will drop a bit. Since we're looking at the window sticker, the base price is $81,000, but of course they always add the options to raise the tab a bit. A safety package with forward collision, $3,000. There's an air suspension under there, that's an extra $1,500. A 23 speaker sound system, that's an extra $2,000. An extra 1,000 clams for the sunroof. And if you want the F-Sport package, $9,700. What a deal. There are other goodies I didn't list because we're short on time. Let's just go to the price. There you go. These high output LED headlights are an extra $300. We're going to take these out in the dark and see how they perform. We'll do that right now, as we do in all my videos. I'd say it's dark enough. Let's take these headlights out and see how they perform. They do look pretty bright, don't they? Here we have the headlights on the building 100 feet away. These are the low beams, very bright, good height. Doesn't get much better than this. Go to high beam. Looks pretty potent to me. And here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. Very widespread, good height, very potent lights. These are some of the most powerful I've ever seen. Go to low beam. Just barely reaches out. Excellent, excellent headlights. No complaints whatsoever. Also, if you press the magic button, you have the heads-up display. With the compass on the left, speedometer on the right, with tachometer RPMs. Maybe if we turn off the lights, you can see a little bit better. We also had cornering lights. Turn the steering wheel to the left. Great for parking lots and taking corners slowly on backcountry roads. I'd say we got our money's worth when it comes to headlights on this vehicle. Nice brakes. I was looking for a spare tire in the trunk, but apparently we don't get one. Instead, we get a monster-sized battery and all the electronics for the air suspension instead. That's why the LS500 comes with run-flat tires. We'll be talking about that a little bit later in the video. So next, let's go in the cabin and check out all the goodies. We have lots of room for the rear seat passengers. Nice leather trim, but that's part of the $10,000 sport package. Says so right here. And on the floor mats, there's adequate room in the glove box, but only if you take out this monster-sized owner's manual. Look at the size of that thing. We'll put it in the trunk. A large storage bin. It opens from either side, by the way. Here's the button for the heads-up display, and next to that, the button for the cameras. And here the camera is scrolling 360 degrees around the vehicle to make sure you're not backing into a pole. There you go. It also has a reverse camera on the left, and another 360 degree on the right. The climate controls are easy to use. Here are the buttons. If you don't want to leave the 10-speed automatic in the drive mode, you have the manual paddle shifters mounted on the steering wheel where they belong, not on the steering column like the Italians do where they don't belong. If you don't like this gauge cluster, just press a button and change it. Up here we have a knob that gives you comfort, normal, sport, sport plus, eco mode, like so. And here's what the gauge looks like in normal mode, sport plus. Take your pick. And part of your sport package, your 28-way adjustable seats. Press this button here. And there's your menu. A size for everybody. Now, so far I've showed you the positive features of the interior, but there are some not so positive features, and we'll cover these right now. Okay, first you have the buttons on the door that program the steering wheel position, seat position, mirror position, driver 1, driver 2, driver 3. But look how small the buttons are. That's about 1/8 of an inch. Not very good when you're using gloves. And look at all the room they had. They could have made it bigger. So Lexus, why didn't you? Still scratching my head on this. The shifter setup is rather odd. Most cars do have a shift knob like this. Some have strictly push buttons like that. But here we have a combination of both. Push the button for park, reverse, neutral, and drive for the stick. It's really not a bad setup, but the issue I have, you give the keys to an inexperienced driver, like the valet at the local restaurant, or a younger family member who hasn't driven much, and they push this all the way back, thinking they're in park, but really they're in reverse. The car goes back and hits something. I've seen it happen, so if you're going to loan the car to somebody, make sure they understand that park is a push button, and you should be okay. Many Lexus cars have a stick for the control infotainment system. On this vehicle, they switched over to the finger touch pad, which doesn't work very well when the car is moving. This brings up another issue. I was looking for the heated and air conditioning seats, which this has, but where are the controls? On most Lexus cars, there are simple buttons on the console. Not here. You want to adjust the seats? Here's what you have to do. Number 1, you have to press the menu button. Number 2, put your finger on the touchpad. Then scroll all the way down to the climate. Then scroll all the way over for the seats. Then adjust the temperature with the finger touchpad. If you're driving along and just want to change the temperature, you have to go through the whole procedure again. Again, why did Lexus do this? Why not just have a button down here? But they don't, and this is what you have to do if you want air conditioned or heated seats. A bit complicated in my book, but that's the way it is. Okay, enough show and tell. Now we're going to do some driving. This brings up an issue. If you've been watching other YouTube videos and car tests by publications, a lot of people were complaining about the stiff ride on this vehicle, even when set in the comfort mode. Now, how can that be? Because the air suspension does a great job of softening the suspension. And here's the culprit right here. Run flat tires. Now, the advantage is if they go flat, you can still run on them for around 50 miles or so. Disadvantage is they have a consistency of cement and provide a very stiff, nasty ride. And here even more so because instead of the 19-inch run flats, On the F-Sport, you get the heavier 20-inch run flats, which results in even more pounding on the car. So let's see how these run flats perform on speed bumps and potholes. And we're going to do it in the Comfort mode and then in the Sport Plus mode. We have a pothole we're going to take at 10 miles per hour and then some speed bumps at 25 miles per hour. This is in the Sport Plus mode. Ooh, that did not sound good. And I was going slow too. Here comes speed bump number 1. Pretty firm. Speed bump number 2. Number 3. And the big nasty one. Alright, let's try it in the Comfort mode. Here's the pothole. That was pleasant enough. Bump number 1. Far more comfortable in the Comfort mode. I guess that's why they call it the Comfort mode. Speed bump number 2. Number 3. And the big nasty bump coming up. The suspension did a great job of absorbing the impacts, but these tires are just too rough and too stiff. But here's the bottom line. The Lexus engineers did an excellent job on the suspension design, especially the adjustable feature. And the air suspension helps as well. But these tires run everything. They're too stiff, too noisy. They need to go. If I was buying this car before I even took it out on the road from the dealer, I'd swap these out for some nice performance tires. And with the money I saved, I'd buy myself a spare tire and a jack too. And another thing that puzzles me, for the past year you've had all kinds of consumer magazines and YouTube testers complaining about the stiff ride on this vehicle. Did they ever bother to check what type of tires are on here? Because all run flat tires provide a bad ride. Again, get rid of them, and you'll have a nice comfortable car. Apparently, no one bothered to tell you that until I came along. That's why you should be watching my videos and not the other guys, right? And just so you know, unless I say otherwise, all my driving from now on is going to be in the Comfort mode. Lexus claims a 0 to 60 time in 4.6 seconds. Some of the car magazines say no, it's slower at 5.3 to 5.6 seconds. Who's telling the truth? Let's find out. Or turn off the traction control and put it in Sport Plus mode and see what happens. I didn't bring my stopwatch, but if you want to do that at home, you can time it yourself. Quick enough for me. Okay, that's enough hot rodding. Next, we're going to try out the fuel economy. As you can see, driving in all this heavy city traffic, 0 to 60 times. Fuel economy is not the best, but we'll give the vehicle a chance to redeem itself. We're going to reset this to 0 and take a quick freeway trip. We're getting off the expressway. We're going to pull over and see what the fuel economy figure says. Here you go, averaging 70 miles per hour. And this is the figure we got. The low output torque of this V6 does a great job of climbing steep hills, especially if you're passing. In the Comfort mode, the ride is pretty good on these freeways. As long as you don't hit rough pavement, then the run flat tires start aggravating things up. It says open 24 hours, but I guess they lied. No gas here, and I'm running low. Since we made it to the local ghost town, we might as well go check out the local cemetery. A good Halloween spot. Most of these are from the late 1800s. Yeah, except for this dude, 1905. But age 69. Born 1866, died 1904. We've racked up 250 miles thus far, and I've noticed as these tires get hot, they're a lot smoother in the ride quality, which helps a bit on long trips. We're coming to the end of our trip. We're going to pull over and see what figures we have on the dash. As I stated at the beginning of this trip, we weren't driving for fuel economy. It was more about performance, getting there in a hurry. So we passed all the slow pokes, climbed a lot of steep hills. Let's see what our fuel economy was as soon as this bug gets out of my way. That's about right. You're going to use that turbo power. These are the figures you're going to get. And we already know from my previous highway trip, this vehicle is capable of doing 27 miles to the gallon if you want economy. So you drive properly, there's nothing to complain about. Our goal was to put 450 miles on this vehicle in 1 week. Our 1 week is up. We're getting near the 450 miles. This car is going back to the manufacturer tomorrow. I can say after a week of driving, it can definitely compete with some of the best cars from BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. Even though I had a gripe about some of the interior controls and buttons, it's really not a deal killer. You'll get used to them. And in all fairness, these run-flat tires seem to smooth out as they get warm on long driving trips. But still, if you want a car that's comfortable and quiet and smooth, these tires just need to go. Replace them with conventional tires. At least that's my take. If it was my Lexus, that's what I would do. But as always, the choice is yours. And as usual, there's that Lexus quality and reliability that we all pay for. You won't be disappointed there, that's for sure. Here's some links to other high-end cars we've driven lately. Just click and watch.